Howdy. This is a walkthrough of our online forum. This is our communications platform for our district. It's just for our district. It's owned and hosted by our district. So feel free to use it and share and ask questions, and that's what it's all for. It's especially for conveying information around announcements, district events, and district training items. But there's also areas to share best practices about Cub Scouts, about Scouts BSA, and then venturing, exploring, and Sea Scouts. Then there's general Arrow Moon discussions that are just general discussions, and then there's also a new section about Camp Arrow Moon. So just to learn your way around, there's links up here to our Twitter and Facebook. This always brings you back to the home page. This shows the categories. This shows latest posts. This shows some of the more active posts. And then this is our calendar. Okay, so all that is available without ever logging in. You see what's going on. And then over here, there's also similar latest and top. And then badges are part of the discourse setup. So this is the platform that this runs on is called Discourse. It's the same platform that's used by National for discussions.scouting.org. So that's all familiar. In a separate video, I showed you how to log in on a mobile app. There's a mobile app for it, and you can log into and set it up so that you have this easily in your pocket, along with the national ones, which are great places to ask overall scouting questions too. So this is your local resource, and that's a national resource. In here, we have tags. Tags are a way for us to tag or label specific categories and things like that. I don't want to use categories because that's actually what Discourse uses for the different areas. But here's for instance, so this is entry level stuff. Here is specific information for shacks. Here's some tutorials if you're curious about that. So that's how tags are used, and we'll see how that expands in the future. Groups, these are our different groups. Let me get logged in. So let me get logged in here. To log in, if you don't know, you have to be invited. So anybody that's a user can invite somebody else. So when you first log in, you'll see your information here. That shows you kind of an overview of what's new. So I have a admin login, so I haven't logged into this one for a long time. So it shows you what's new, and you can clear that, dismiss it. Also in here, if you've bookmarked any posts, they'll show here, and there's a direct messaging in here, so that would show up here. So here's the direct messaging. I'm going to turn this off for now. If you want, you can enable browser notifications, and that will pop up as you're using it. So this is your control panel for your account. So just summary of different things, activity, notifications. If you have any private messaging going on, you can send stuff. You can create a new message. If you need to send something to somebody else within Scouting individually, this is a great place. It keeps all your communications in one place. If you need to invite somebody else, there's somebody else from your unit, or another parent, or just somebody else scouting that needs for this, then here's how you do it. You send them an invite. You just click here, type in their email address, hit send invite, or you can copy the link and send it to them separately. But either way, that will send out an email directly to them, and then they can log in from there. So we have disabled the public sign up just to cut down on spam and administration overhead. But anybody that's a user already can invite other people. So that should be pretty easy. Badges, again, this is built-in stuff, and it just kind of shows user level and things like that. And then here's where you can update your preferences, your profile, email information, any notifications, categories, things that are watched, tracked. These are all default settings. any other users, ignore users. I don't think we'll have a lot of problems with stuff like that with this crowd, but it could happen, I guess. Just all your different things go in here. So this shows what apps are using it. So you can, if you lost a phone or something like that, you can revoke access. So a lot of different things in here. Here's some of the specifics. Let's go back to here, and we'll go through some more of this. So now that I'm logged in, I can look at groups. So these are the different groups. So if you're a day camp, if you're volunteering for day camp, this is one of the places you can request. I think they're using a Facebook group actually still this year, but this was set up for them. There's a Camp Aramoon Steering Committee. So Sean Reynolds is the head of that. So if you're supposed to be on that, you could request access to this. We're trying this out for specific committees to have their own little sections. So I'm in PAC 802, and so I'm on this group. District leaders, if you're a district leader, then request access to this. If you are in a district leadership position, if you're a unit leader, this is something that you can request and join. So so the difference is request access. That means somebody has to approve you, whereas this is just open. So if you're any type of unit leadership or interested in unit leadership or want to learn more about unit leadership, you can join this. When you join this, it will give you access to all the unit leader logins areas. So this is a whole separate section specifically for leadership. So there's stuff specific to Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA, and then venturing, exploring Sea Scouts, and then there's stuff that's just interested to all leadership. So information about rechartering. So things like that. If you need to receive updates about things that would be sent out to leaders, this is a good thing also for you to go through and get subscribed to. So creating new topics. So anytime you want to create new topics, you just go in here. This is how you create a new topic. There's some specifics on creating new topics for events and announcements and training. All of those have to be approved before they'll go through, and that has to do with how they send out broad notifications. So we tend to keep that just a little bit tighter. District leadership has access to send those out and to add those. Otherwise, you can create one if you like. This specific one has some guidelines, so you can remember just to make sure that we get everything included. So it gives you some guidelines there on a template of what makes a good event. Events need to have here's some new events that have been added. We have a plugin specifically for events, and if these have to get added where they have this in there, and then that makes them where somebody can go and click this and add it to their calendar, and it also shows up on our main calendar. So that's how that is all tied together. There was an itinerary. I guess they got rid of that. This is a plugin. This calendar is a plugin that we use to Discourse, so it's in constant updates. This shows the calendar. Once you're logged in, you can view other users. So if you're looking for somebody, you can search them there. Again, things that are new. Oh, already clicked that. Top items, tags, groups. We've been through these. All the categories, same as here. And then about is just general information, and FAQ, same different deal. This is standard template stuff from Discourse, and this is just an overview of kind of how forums work and being nice and that sort of thing. And then there's also even keyboard shortcuts. So Discourse is really powerful. It's a great platform. So it has a great search function up here also if you're looking for something specific. And then once you get into, let's see, into groups, one of the things with your groups is looking through and you can see specifically who's in there. So if somebody shouldn't be in there, I mean, somebody should be in there that's not in there, then then that's something you can invite them and give them a link to. You can also message people within here. It's just a good overall platform for us to use to keep everybody on the same page. And one of the big things is with district events is we have each one of these. Not only does it add it to the calendar, but we start it with some events, and sometimes we just link it to the SHAC website if it's a SHAC event. But then this gives us a platform to send everybody updates or have people ask questions. So a lot of times meeting notes will end up here, like Robert's running roundtables. So he will update this either before or after the meeting with things that we covered at the meeting. If somebody's interested in reviewing that, in district meetings, so I'm the district communications chair. In those meetings, I type up notes from the meeting and put those in there so that everybody has access to those. Just gives us a place where we can share information, ask questions, and things like that. One of the things specifically for leaders is here, gives them direct links into things that are specific to that leadership. There's some information about watching posts. So what this does is if there's an announcement, an event, or a training, if anything gets added to those, then people get notified. There'll be a digest email that comes through. This gives you an overview of some of that. There's some videos, the how-tos, and then there's also a section here for people that are new to scouting. I grew up in scouting, but my wife was not familiar with it. So when I got back in scouting with my son, then we started talking terminology and things like that. And there was a lot of things that I took for granted that she didn't know about. And so when it came to our communications and just our the things that we talk about and how it's structured and all that. So we created this as a resource for 101 parents. This is part of my Wood Badge ticket also. So just kind of a entry thing that for our pack we could send people, and then I set it up here so that people throughout the district have access to it, and it shows an overview of Scout law. I'll cover some more of this in a different video, but this gives you an overview of how Discourse works. If you have any questions, just post up on the forum and let us know. Thanks. Have a good day.